again, why has this been so hard? Is it the networks? Why is it that even today, as you and I sit here, talk about this topic, a lot of your peers will say, I cannot find people. I cannot find people of color. I can't find women. I can't find any form of diversity um, that will ensure I make the same rate of return.
I've been heartened by the increase in genuine dialogue between parties about concerns, right? Um, an individual that's not a minority, let's call somebody a white male, can and should be able to ask questions about why, and I don't understand, and why do you get whatever that's in people's head. They should be able to have that dialogue, and there should be a recipient that's understanding of that question and answers it in a way that's thoughtful, that's supportive and educational. For instance, the riots and the demonstrations have created so much noise, but the righteous anger you see out there is that there's a deep suspicion that nothing's going to change again. And so I'm seeing some sensible change. And so, we are doing our best in our company to do that. We always have. We're such a diverse organization. We fly in 60 countries. If you look at our numbers, it's ridiculous. We're off the charts with diversity. But how do we do up at the top levels? How do we do at our board, like every other corporation? And there has to be concerted efforts, not templates, not diagrams, not charts, not initiatives that have all these fancy marketing. What are you tangibly, specifically doing? And what I say in my world is one of the very few Latinos in business, certainly at the CEO level, certainly the only Latino to run a U.S. airline. I'm tired of always being, the exception. Like, well, he's the only. I was like, screw that. I want it to be the expectation that people of color can genuinely achieve these roles. And when you do that, I mean, I get mentioned as a Latino, but by and large, we get mentioned by the success we've had at the company. Oh, and he just happens to be Latino. The best way to advance a cause is just to do it on the merits of what your capability. With us at United, we're doing that. We're doing very tangible, specific, they're not ready for a Harvard Business Review sort of, case study, because they're not that darn sexy. But you know what they deliver? They deliver actual results of human beings who are being advanced and being seen, and we're advancing people's minds about what people of color or what women or of a different sort of sexual orientation, whatever it is, can do in the business place and how they can create value. And that's the exciting part of what we're seeing.
Well, I gave myself the C- on timing, starting too late. I'm very happy with our rate of progress, and it is accelerating. And it's accelerating because we have people like Sandy Peterson that joined us about 3 years ago, and Sandy's a remarkable background. She sits now on the Microsoft board, but she's been a leader in women in business for a long time. And
absolutely.
I explicitly told Sandy when she said, well, why should I come with you? And I said, this is going to be a good platform. And she said, well, I don't see enough women here. And I said, I know, that's why I want you. And I said, part of your job is within your first year, find someone and find another, seriously successful woman like you.
Right.
And then the next year, there's two of you, find two more.
Right.
And so I've turned one into four in a 2-3 year period. And I was chairman and CEO. She knew I meant it, and we're doing it, right?
Right.
I could have done that or should have done that earlier, and hence my self-criticism. But, for all of the interesting studies on cognitive bias, which is something that I've found interesting from even my undergraduate days,
right?
People just don't see the world the same way. And unfortunately, in finance, investment banking, commercial banking has been so dominated by men, and typically white men, that just the framework is not as open as it should be. I think it's really changing. And some of it by brute force. You see the NASDAQ rules,
yes,
the diversity requirements upon European boards. And I think that initially struck people as, gee, that's not going to work.
Right.
But guess what? It does.
Right.
And it has, and it will. And so I don't think that there was a strong sense of discrimination in many companies, although implicitly that was the result, as much as it was neglect, lack of intentionality, and importantly, not really believing that the outcome of a diverse company workforce and a diverse company board would really matter. But the research had shown it for a while. Now it shows it really in spades. which makes all the sense in the world. If we're serving a diverse population, how can we have a workforce or a board that's not diverse? How are we going to know what our customers want? We're going to define it with a stick? I mean, it's people. So once you take that frame, it matters. The other thing, and won't surprise you at all, and it's another reason why I'm self-critical, we didn't do in the past what I do now. I show every one of my portfolio companies where they stand on diversity versus other portfolio companies. So, there's an embarrassment factor.
I hope that we can have more conversations about this topic of diversity and how we can make it better in private equity, but also all the other things we talked about, and more on ESG in future. But especially wanted to thank you at this time of the year with an incredibly busy schedule to take time out of your busy day to share time with us, and look forward to future conversations.